Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Business Breakthrough with Barbara Show. Happy Monday. How is everyone doing? I hope you guys caught that intro. How's everyone doing? Happy Monday. I hope you had an amazing weekend. I hope you are excited for today's topic. Let me just, excuse me. Let me just get myself situated here while you guys hop on. Good morning. If you're hopping on, let me know that you are here. Okay, perfect. Just wanted to have my notes. How's everyone's weekend? What do you guys do? We are going to talk about how to get your potential clients' attention and specifically my secret ingredient for doing that. I'm very excited about this because I feel like I've seen the online coaching industry grow so much over the years. And one of the things that I do believe it's going to keep escalating and growing is the amount of people in this space, which is good because it's the amount of people doing the work that we do and also the amount of people wanting and needing the work that we offer, right? But then with this type of growth comes a whole new set of solutions that we need to figure out, which is one of them is to figure out how to stand out and how to get people's attention when there are hundreds and thousands of other people yelling through the rooftops, pretty much the same thing that you're yelling. Okay? It was a pretty popular topic. A lot of people voted in my Instagram for it. And a couple of you told me in here that you were really excited to hear about it. So I'm excited to deliver. Let's see. What do I have to say before we begin? Okay, one thing. For all of you who have booked a market research call with me, I am so grateful that you did. And I want to thank you so much. So we started promoting market research calls last week, and we have about 9 calls in the books, which is a lot. But I'm very excited because here's what's happening. I haven't created a new course in a long time. I can't even tell you how long. And I literally got the best idea for such a unique course for you guys, and I'm in the process of putting it together before I release it. So every time I create a new course, I ask you to hop on the phone with me so that I can ask you a whole bunch of questions to make sure that I'm delivering and I'm teaching specifically to what your needs are, in addition to what I think it's needed. And this course is going to be all about helping your clients get results. If you've been following me for a while, you probably have heard me talk about all the results that my clients get, going from 0 to multiple 6 figures in their business. And I've been doing this for a really long time, and I'm really confident in my capacity to help people grow in their business. So I know that one big fear that a lot of new coaches have is, what if I start working with a client and they don't get the result? And that's where my course comes in. I'm going to teach you absolutely everything that I have learned over the past 6 years of being an online business coach, and everything that I know about what you can do as a coach to help your clients accelerate their growth and get more results. But before we finalize this amazing course coming your way, I am hopping on the phone with all of you because I do want to understand what specific struggles do you have around it and all that good stuff. So thank you to all of you who have booked a call with me. I'm super excited to support you. After I ask you a whole bunch of questions, I'm going to give you 20 minutes of laser coaching. So I'm excited to reciprocate back to you. And if you are someone who only book a call with me, and help me out with this, if you're someone who actually has that fear or has had that fear in the past, or is something that lets it stop you. So if you have been afraid that your clients won't see results while working with you, if you feel like you played small because that fear is getting in the way, if you don't really know how to increase your chances of helping your clients achieve success while working with you and all of that good stuff, please book a market research call. I'm going to keep them open for 1 more week. And Yeah, it's going to really help shape the direction of this course. That's all I have to say before we dive into today's topic. Let me see if there are any comments. Hi, Emily, Stephanie, Julie. Love you, ladies. So happy to see you here. Good morning. Okay, let's dive right in because I know you guys are ready. Also, before we dive in, I feel a little naked today. I feel like I don't have my eye makeup on. I don't have eyeshadow or eyeliner because I'm feeling a little bit of pain in my eye, and in the past that has been a sty. So I'm trying to not touch anything around that so it doesn't come out. So I don't feel fully naked because I have lipstick on, but I kind of feel like I'm like in my swimsuit, right? Like I'm not like fully naked, but I feel vulnerable today. Anyway, okay, so how do we get our clients' attention? Now, there were some posts going around that said, how do we get our, like my secret ingredient to getting clients' attention? And then the other one was my secret ingredient to getting potential clients' attention. Because we had these two posts going around, I want to address both sides of the spectrum because I know some of you may be hopping on here to figure out how to get your clients' attention, and then some of you may be hopping on here. Most of you are probably hopping on here to figure out how to get your potential clients' attention, right? So let me address the first one really like super quickly. Like, how do we get our actual one-on-one clients' attention? It's easier. It's so much easier than what you think. It's really about being an engaged coach, right? Like, I don't even know how to simplify such a simple topic. Like, if you, for example, are working with someone and that person is not communicating with you, they are not interacting with you, they are kind of like ghosting you in between, right? This is going to be like a little bit of a tough pill to swallow, but we have to be an engaged coach and be willing to call them out in a sweet and loving and kind and gentle way. Every client is going to have a different personality. But when you feel like you're not getting their attention, when you feel like they're not engaged in coaching, it's not about being like, hey, just so you know, you're not doing your work. But it is about being like building that capacity to call them out on what's happening in a very sweet and gentle way, right? So let me give you an example. This happens a lot in coaching, right? Because when you coach with someone, you coach with them for a really long time. So there's going to be different stages in their life. They are, I don't know, some of my clients have gone through divorces. Some of my clients have bought a new house. Some of my clients have moved across country, gotten a new job. Like, there's so many things that go on in the coaching relationship that could lead to having times where the client is not as engaged and when the client is not really paying attention to coaching. So let me just give you a very basic example, okay? So client doesn't communicate with me for 2 weeks after we set some goals to create a workshop, whatever, random example. Okay, so here's what we don't do if we want to get their attention. We don't say, hey, you haven't reached out in 2 weeks. You said you were going to do X, Y, and Z. Why haven't you done it? It's my job to make sure that you do it, and I want to make sure that you're doing it. No. Because the clients on the other end could be experiencing a really difficult time. They could be going through a lot of mental things. They could be having a lot of negative thoughts. They could be having a lot of problems in their house. So you don't want to call them out like that. You don't want to engage with them in that way if you want to get their attention. Plus, some clients may be like me, a little bit rebellious when you have someone telling you what to do and calling you out in that sense. You kind of like back off and you're like, well, now I'm not doing it, or now I'm not paying attention to you because you're just literally like on me. And I like rebellious people like myself do not respond good to that. So what you do is you engage with them, right, in a kind, loving way. So the first thing I would do in situations like that is I would stalk my clients, right? I would go on social media. I would see what they're posting. I would see if they're having a difficult time. If I can find something that gives me some insight as to how I can start reaching out to them. If I can't find anything, then I will inquire, right, to see what's going on. Okay, so that could look like if I see that my client is having a really hard time because they didn't see their parents for a whole year and they're like feeling really bad. I will say something along the lines of like, hey, I noticed that you're going through a really, really long, like hard time right now. I saw your post on X, Y, and Z. I just want to let you know that I know we're doing business coaching, but I do have a life coaching certification because business and life are so intertwined. Is this something that you want to process? Is this something that you want to like bring to the table so that we can explore and move through together? Having ups and downs in our journey is so, so normal. And I want to make sure that you're fully supported so that we can move through this. Okay? People are going to react to that so much better. If I have no idea what the client may be going through, I will just inquire. Like, hey, it's been a couple of weeks since we last talked. I just want to remind you that I'm here. I don't know if you're going through a hard time or a really busy week. I kind of like want to check in on everything that's going on. Give me a little update, okay? So you just call them out in a loving way. If you have a client that's not paying attention to you, you don't just allow that to happen, because then that's not good coaching. One of the reasons why your clients hire you is so that you can be aware of when they're going through these phases, but you also don't attack them in the process, okay? So now that we got that out of the way, what to do if a one-on-one client is not paying attention to you, let's talk about how to get your potential clients' attention online. Are you guys ready? Drop me a emoji or I'm ready below to let me know. And also let me know if you have questions about getting your one-on-one clients' attention, because I'm happy to dive deeper into that. Okay, there is this is like my best advice that I can give you with getting attention online. And I have the best example here. Hold on, for some reason, I can't see comments. Okay, I get those too. I know exactly what you mean. Oh my God, I'm so glad that you understand. I was like, should I share that? Is that too much information? And then I'm like, no, it's just a style. Stop being a baby. Probably a lot of people get them. So thank you. Thank you for sharing that as well. Okay, so how do we get potential clients' attention online? I have the best example of this. So I have a dog. Her name is Tila. Most of you know her. And she sometimes acts like a kid, right? So like she tries to get my attention. When she does that, when she like comes up to me and she like goes like that with her paw, but she like does it so intently, like I don't even know how to explain to you. I have long sleeves because she did it to my arm the other day and I have a bruise. But like when she's like, I want your attention, ba-bam, and she like literally like paws me so hard that it bruises me, that doesn't really get my attention. That gets me annoyed. Okay? So like if she, and she's so sweet, it's really hard to get mad at her. But like if she like tries to get my attention by like drilling herself on me, just like a one time like, pay attention to me, otherwise like I'm just gonna paw you really hard, I usually pay attention in the sense of like, that was really annoying, you really hurt me, now I'm gonna turn around and just kind of like ignore you. And I feel like that's a good analogy for like people who are really pushing in the online space. So for example, someone reached out to me and they're like, something, something, something. We help people scale to like 1.5 million, something, something, something. Do you want us to help you? I ignored the message, not judging it, not thinking anything bad, but I just ignored it. I'm already having trouble keeping up with my own messages of people asking me questions and wanting to work with me and stuff like that. So I just ignored the message. And then the person messaged me a couple of times like, hey, are you still there? Hey, do you see my last message? Hey, like I feel like when people are like super pushy, that doesn't get people's attention. That annoys people, okay? Kind of like when Tila tries to get my attention very intently, it's like, that annoys me. You're not getting my attention. I'm just going to turn around and ignore you, which may not be the best parenting tip, but that's what I do. And it's the same thing online. When people are like, super pushy, super intense, you are more likely to get ignored, okay? You're more likely to get ignored because people can feel that. People can feel the intensity of that attention-seeking behavior, yeah? So thus far, is this making sense to you guys? Is it resonating? Did I give you a good example or a bad example? I wonder if I should mention mine as well. Yes, please mention everything. This is an open and safe space. This group is really cool, guys, because I ran this group for a long time, and we've never really had, we've had to kick out very few people. We've had like very few like negativity things happen. It is really a safe space. I think one of my intentions from day one, it's like, this is a safe space. This is a safe space. You can share, you can share, you can share. And I think that really has helped shape this community to being a safe space where we can talk about size and we can talk about failure and we can talk about business and hardship and all that good stuff. So yeah, share away. Okay, so we don't want to get people's attention by being super intense. Now, that doesn't mean that you don't have to follow up with people, right? The proper way, or in a way that works for you, in a way that feels good to you. That doesn't mean that you don't have to show up for your business, right? Like at the end of the day, getting a client is your responsibility, right? So like if someone mentions that they're interested in working with you, or if someone gives you a buying behavior or something along those lines, like that doesn't mean that it like you shouldn't reach out, or that doesn't mean that you shouldn't start a conversation, or that doesn't mean that you shouldn't take that next step. It just means that you don't have to paw them. I don't even know if that's a word, but you don't have to paw them to the extent that it's going to annoy them and bruise them and make them want to walk away. Okay? Now, what do we do instead? It's called repetition. That is like my number one secret ingredient for getting attention online. And I'm going to tell you exactly why this works and how it works better and better and better over time. Okay? So much better than being acutely pushy and being acutely annoying. It is so much better to focus on long-term repetition. That is how you get people's attention. Some of you may have heard that you need to get people's attention. Like people need to read your stuff or see your stuff or scroll through your offers at least 7 times in order for them to like start paying attention to it. That is so true. I actually even think that it's more than that. People need to see your things like at least like 10, 20 times for them to be like, oh, I've seen these like 20 times. Like, let me pay attention to it if it's meant for me. So, repetition means that we are not afraid to repeatedly let people know that we have something to offer in a very fun and gentle way. Okay? So, difference between Tila pawing me super hard and difference between someone trying to get someone's attention very abruptly, very acutely, very pushy is first person will literally never talk to you ever. You don't even know who their name is. You have never seen them in the online space, and they randomly message you and say like, hey, I can help you get to 1 million. You ignore them and they're like, are you there? You ignore them, and then three days later they're like, are you paying attention to me? Have you seen my last message? Do you want me to help you get to 1 million? I'm like, I have no idea who you are. I have no idea who you are. Like, how do I even know that you're a reliable source for this, right? And also, you're being really, really pushy, and I'm just going to ignore you and not pay attention to you. At this point, I may even mute your conversation. Compared to really fun and gentle repetition, which is, I have something to offer that's amazing, okay? The online world is super noisy. There's a lot of people sharing similar offers to what I have to offer, okay? So how can I repeatedly let people know that I have this in a way that doesn't feel annoying, okay? So there's a few things that you need to understand here, okay? Just because you post the same offer a lot doesn't mean that the same person is seeing it every single time. Okay, so when my clients start selling for the first time, or when my clients have their first launch, or when they're promoting one-on-one for like the first time ever, they're like, wait, so you mean I have to like promote it more than once a week? And I'm like, yep, yep, you do. But like, isn't that going to annoy people? Nope. Nope, it's not. And here's why. Because you're not abruptly forcing someone to pay attention to you. You're just repeatedly letting people know that you have something to offer. You're repeatedly allowing them to see what's on the table for them. Now, here, they have agency, they have choice, right? Like, if they like you, even if they're not buying, even if they've seen that post 20 times, which I promise you, they're not seeing all of your posts, they're not seeing all of your emails, they're not seeing all of your ads. I promise you, they're not seeing everything. If people were seeing everything that you were posting and you were repeatedly promoting something, it would be so easy to make sales, but they're not, right? So at this point, they have agency. They can say, I really like this person. I really love what she has to say. I've seen her post. I've seen her promotion. I've seen this thing. And like, maybe it's not the time for me, but I still like her. So I'm going to stick around. Or they have agency and they could say like, I've seen this a lot and it's not my thing. So I'm just kind of like, I'm going to go follow someone else. Or I'm going to like leave this space. So you're not really pushing something onto someone in a way that's going to bruise them. You're just kind of like, hey, I have this. Okay, so I'm going to go back to my Tila example. So like, let's say she needs to go outside. If she's like, hey, I'm here, right? And I'm just like, oh, hey. And then she's like, hey, it's been a couple of minutes. I just wanted to let you know that I'm here. Maybe you didn't see it the first time, but the second time, I'm just going to like remind you. Okay. And you were like, oh, okay, hey, you're back. And then she does it again, right? Like through small nudges and small little pieces of repetition, now we don't get a sense of annoyance, right? Like now it's not an intrinsic like, oh my God, you're really annoying me and you're really like kind of like pissing me off in a way. Now it's a sense of like, wait, you've been doing that for a little bit. Like, let me actually pay attention to you, right? Like that's when I go like, what's going on? You've been like tapping on me for like 5 or 10 minutes. Like what's going on? Are you hurt? Are you tired? Are you hungry? Do you need to go outside? And then I get to take that next step with her. I know this is a super weird example, but it just happened yesterday and I thought it aligned perfect with getting people's attention because that's ultimately what she was trying to do. She tried to get my attention really hard, really pushy, really abruptly, and then she tried to get my attention like very gently, very repetitive, very calm, very kind. Okay, and that's when I go like, oh my God, I should have listened to you like 10 minutes ago. All you're trying to tell me is that you need to go outside and pee. It's the same thing with marketing, and it's the same thing with getting people's attentions online, right? Like you go all in, more times than not, it's not gonna work. You're gentle and you're just like, hey, I'm here. I just want to let you know that I have this. Hey, I don't know if you saw it yesterday. No pressure at all, but I just want to let you know that I have this. Hey, you inquired about my program. Just wanted to check in on you. Zero pressure. Hey, it's Friday. Just, in case you haven't seen this, I just wanted to let you know that it's here. Repetition is how you get people's attention without them feeling, what's the word I'm looking for? What's that word when you eat something and then it tasted bad or it made you sick and then you don't want aversion? Without them feeling averse to your marketing, without them feeling averse to your offers, without them feeling averse to your pitching, okay? So my number one secret of how I get clients' attention is I just repeatedly let you know that I'm here. I repeatedly let you know that I have something coming. Like, for example, with my course. I'm not selling you my course right now, but I am letting you know, like, hey, just so you know, if you have been struggling with the fear of, like, what if my clients don't get results? If you have been struggling with, like, well, I don't want to promote myself because what if my program is not good enough? What if I'm not that good of a coach? What if they don't get from point A to point B? If you have been struggling with that, I just want to let you know that I'm working on something. That's like the first time that I went like, hey, just so you know, I'm here, right? Last week, I was like, I am so excited about this course that's coming. I am so excited because I know for a fact, like, this has been an extremely validated idea from all the analysis that we've done in the business that most coaches struggle with it. So I'm so excited to finally come up with a course that will help you accelerate your client results and increase the chances of your clients getting results. Okay, would you please help me? I'm not telling to you, but I'm just like, just so you know, I am so excited about this. And when you're ready to look at it, when you're ready to like do that click, just so you know, I've just been pawing you very gently and letting you know that this exists. Super weird analogy. Let me know if it's resonating or if it makes sense. If it doesn't, I'll try to come up with a different one. Okay, let's see. How do you differentiate, I can't say it, sorry, between being pushy and doing repetition correctly? Ooh, that's a good question. Okay. So I think the main difference is repetition is not forceful in the sense of like you're just repeatedly letting people know that there's something there, and then they make their own choice. Like I think it's an empowered way of letting people know that you have something, in the sense of they make their own empowered choice, right? Where it's like, cool, I saw the offer, I get to scroll and ignore it, or I get to read it, right? Or I saw the offer again and I get to click on it, or I get to swipe it, right? So like repetition is different because it's just kind of like, you're not really like forcing anyone to do something. So like if I think of Tila when she hurt me really bad and she tried to get my attention very forceful, she was forcing me to turn around. She's like, if you do not turn around, this is what I'm gonna do, right? And it wasn't even my choice. Like at that point, I had to turn around because it was very forceful. It's kind of like when someone comes to you and they're like, hey, I have never met you before, but are you paying attention to me? Right? Like I just told you that I can help you scale your business to 1 million. Like, are you there? Are you paying attention to me? It's like, I'm kind of like forced to look at that. In a way, it's like I have no other choice than to open your message because you're just bombarding me with messages, right? Or like if someone's like sending you a link like 5 times, like that's like you're forced to pay attention. So like you're not intrinsically wanting to be like, hey, I'm curious about this, or like, hey, I've seen this, or like it's not coming from a place of like I actually want to pay attention. It's coming from a place like I have no choice but to pay attention, right? But because you're doing it so forcefully, I'm only paying attention to like ignore you, right? So like I paid attention to like see what you were doing, and then I'm gonna turn around and ignore you. Like I paid attention to that person's message, right? But it was just more because I kept getting the notification and then I ignored it, right? Is this making sense so far? Versus when you're just being repetitive in a fun way, it's like, hey, I have this. And then I get to choose like, I've seen that post before. Maybe I should read it this time. I saw that post on Wednesday. Maybe I should read it that time. Or like, oh, she's been talking about that course for a couple of weeks. Maybe I should check out the sales page, right? Like I'm creating a sense of curiosity. I'm creating a sense of fun. I'm creating a sense of like, I just want to let you know that this is here and you get to choose whether you want to see it or not. You're not forced into it. Like there's zero pressure around it. And the other person now has more power to decide whether they want to pay attention and look more into it or whether they just want to ignore it. Did that make sense? I hope it did. Hey, ladies, welcome. Thank you for joining us. We are talking about how to get people's, like my top secrets and ingredients for getting potential clients' attention online, which by the way is repetition. Repetition done properly, not repetition done forcefully. Okay. So Emily, let me know if that rests. Okay. So it's like you're bringing so much attention to it in a forceful way, in a way where you can't just ignore what they're doing and your choice is sort of forced. Exactly. So it's like, yeah, That's like, it's exactly that. I kind of want to expand on it, but I don't even know if I can because you said it so well. It's like, if you're so forceful on it, now people are paying attention to you, but they're not paying attention to you in a positive way. Now they're just kind of like, well, I had to turn, right? Like I had no choice but to turn. And now my attention is not even really on the thing itself. Now my attention is on like how annoying and forceful this was, right? Like I had to turn to that Facebook message because I kept getting the, hey, are you there? Hey, do you read my message? Hey, do you want me to help you scale to 1 million? And I'm like, okay, I have to turn. Like I can't ignore it. But now I'm not turning because I'm curious about it. Now I'm not turning because I care about it. Right now I'm just turning because you're forcing me to turn. And then my thought at that point when I'm being forced to turn is never going to be like, oh, what an interesting thing. Let me go check it out. Meanwhile, if someone's like, hey, I have helped so many people scale to 1 million. I have this amazing offer that's going to help you with X, Y, and Z. If you're interested, click here. Or if you're interested, book a call. And then I'm like, scroll through that post. But the next day, I see the same person saying like, hey, we've helped so many companies scale to 1 million. This is exactly how we work with people. Is scaling to 1 million something that you want to do? Oh, okay, saw the post again, scroll through it, right? Like I'm having my own agency, but I'm creating my own sense of curiosity the more that I repeatedly see that offer or the more that I repeatedly see that post. Now, if I am the right client for that offer, if I am looking to scale to 1 million, right? Then guess what? After a few times of me seeing that offer, I'm going to want to pay attention to it. But just from a place of like, you know what? Like I have been wanting that. So like, why shouldn't I read this post? Let me just read it and see what she has to offer. Read the post, like the post. Oh, cool, that's awesome. Let me click on it. And then I get distracted and I don't click on it, but then she posts again the next day. And I'm like, oh yeah, I was going to click on this yesterday. Let me click on it now. So I click on it, open the sales page, and then I leave the sales page open and I never read through it because I got distracted with a client who messaged me, right? This is why repetition is so important because people are so, like, our attention span is so short. So it's like, there could be someone looking at your stuff and there could be someone looking at your marketing and they could be like, that's really cool. Or like, I've seen this a couple of times, let me pay attention to it. Or like they pull up your sales page and then they get distracted with their kids or life or business or their husband gets home or they have to cook or they have to go to the bathroom and then all of a sudden they forgot to read your sales page, right? But every time that you're kindly nudging them, they come back and they're like, huh, yeah, I forgot I was reading that sales page. Or like, oh, I forgot I was interested in that. So repetition is super, super, super important because it gives the other person agency and it helps you create curiosity versus forcing someone to pay attention to you, but not in the right way. Okay, when you're being super pushy with your sales and when you're being super pushy with your marketing, people are going to pay attention to you, but they're going to generate a little bit of aversion, right? I can think of a handful of coaches who are a little bit annoying around this. And it kind of like it creates a little bit of aversion for me. Now, let's talk about follow-up though, because I think that's important here. Because follow-up is something that I teach. I think there's so much money in following up with people. And I don't want you guys to create a story that you shouldn't reach out to people or that you shouldn't follow up with people and stuff like that, because that's just going to be detrimental to your business. Very valid. Yes, love that this is resonating. Let me know if you have questions too, by the way. What was I saying? Follow up. Okay. So when I gave you that example of someone who reached out to me and asked me to, if I wanted, I don't even remember the message, if I wanted to scale to 1 million or something, and then asked me like 10 times, like, are you there? Are you there? Do you see my last message? Do you see my last message? And stuff like that. I don't want you to feel like you should never reach out to people or and stuff like that. So let me give you a little bit of contrast. Let's say someone, okay, so that's example number one. Example number one is you grab a random person that you've never talked to before and you just message them and you're like, hey, I can help you lose 20 pounds in 10 days. Do you want me to support you? person doesn't answer, then you message them again, and you message them again, and you message them again. Okay, so that's example number one. That's being pushy. Now, there's also following up with people the right way, okay, which is you see buying cues, okay, and you start building a genuine connection and relationship with that person. So an example is, I have a lot of buying cues in my business. So like, people who are watching my Instagram stories, people who are liking my stuff, people who are commenting on my stuff, people who are opening my emails, people who are clicking on my emails, right? People who are shouting me out on social media. Like, there's a list of buying cues that we have in the business. And when you see a buying cue, that could potentially mean that the person is interested. So you have someone who follows you for a while, you see that they're liking all of your stuff, you see that they're commenting in all of your stuff. That could be a buying cue. That could be like, this person is really listening to your message to the T, right? Like, she's listening to everything that you have to say. She's listening to, reading a lot of your messages. Like, she's really invested in your business, in your content, in your community. She's really invested in it, or he's really invested in it. Now, that's just a buying cue. And it's not always certain, right? Like, it could just be that they were curious to see how your sales page looked like. It could just be that they wanted to compare your program to their program. Just because they clicked on your sales page doesn't mean that they want to buy, which is why we cannot be pushy like without having any context. So what you do instead is you ask from a place of curiosity, right? Like, hey, I saw that you were liking a lot of my content. Let me give you an example with this. Like, let's say someone is like liking all the posts about my new course. Okay, let's just give this scenario. Hey, I saw that you've been liking a lot of my posts around X, Y, and Z. I just wanted to check in with you and kind of like see where you're at with that. Is this something that you're interested in, or are you just kind of like cheering me on social media? Do you see the difference? Like, do you see a difference between like, hey, pay attention to me, to like, hey, I noticed this, zero pressure at all. Just wanted to nudge you here and kind of like see where you're at. Do you have any questions? I'm here to support you. If not, thank you so much for following me, and thank you so much for being such an engaged member. It is like night and day, and it takes a little bit of practice for you to get comfortable with like, what's the difference between being super pushy and super aggressive to like just being fluid and repetitive and, you know, willing to start a conversation and see buying cues and not let people feel like they kind of like have to turn, but then not have the good feelings after they turn. Yeah. Let's see. Do you guys have anything else for me? Okay. What questions are coming up? Let me know if you're still struggling with like the contrast. I can give a lot more examples there. Let me know if this makes sense. Let me know if this resonates with you. Let me know if you want me to expand on this topic. I'm happy to do so. You guys know this. I'm here every Monday at 10 a.m. Eastern for the Business Breakthrough with Barbara show, and I am here for you. I'm here to help you and support you and see you grow, and you know, that's why these topics are chosen by you. These topics are, you guys vote on them, right? Like, I want to deliver what you guys need. So the more that you tell me that you're struggling with this, that you don't understand this, that or whatever, the more that I can come here and support you. Okay. All right, I'm going to give you guys a couple more minutes to see if you have any more questions. If not, you know, I come back to the comments, so post them even if you're watching the replay. If you want to give me a little bit of support and kind of like give me some insight as to any fears that you may have about not helping your clients see results, please book a market research call with me. It is really, really helpful for me whenever I'm creating something new to hear in your own words, like what exactly you're struggling with, what exactly your fears are. It really, really helps me create programs that are custom tailored to your needs, and in turn help you obviously see more results through the program and create a more powerful course for you, because I'm creating it, again, customized to what most people struggle with, and I'm delivering the right tools and resources that will help you through that. So thank you if you are booking a call with me. Thank you if you have booked a call with me. Remember, at the end, we're going to spend 20 minutes laser coaching you in exchange for your time, because I know that life is busy, and I'm really, really grateful that you are willing to give me some of your time. And then Emily says, does this method differ between different places, like groups or forums? Does it change depending on where you use it? Emily, I love all your questions. Please keep them coming. Literally, you guys, all of you, ask me questions like this, because these are good. I booked a market research call with you. Yay! Thank you, Bree. Yes, awesome. Can't wait for it. Okay, does it look different in different methods? I think yes and no. Okay. I think it's kind of like the idea that like marketing will, like, for example, like marketing will look different in different platforms, but it will always be the same foundational concept, right? Like, for example, like in Facebook groups, I may do a lot of posting and I may do a lot of live streaming, versus on Instagram, I may do a lot of posting and I may do a lot of stories, right? So like sometimes what do you call that? I hate when I go blank. Sometimes the methods, right, like of using repetition will change, but more times than not, it will look very similar. It will be the same foundational idea, right? Do you have like specific examples, like specific platforms that you want me to compare? Because I'm happy to kind of like give you insight as to like what it would look like here and what it would look like here, if you have like specific examples. But it is typically the same. It's typically like, you know, if you're being forceful here, you're probably going to be forceful there, even though it may look a little bit different. Same foundational stuff. If you're being repetitive here, you can definitely be repetitive there. I'm going to give you an example of a platform that is new and I don't use, and I honestly still don't get it. If you use it, zero problems at all. I have clients who use it. But let's talk about Clubhouse, right? So like the app came out months ago, and it's about like talking to people. I really, it's not my thing. So like this is a completely brand new platform, a completely brand new app. It's a completely new way of marketing yourself, right? But like the same idea applies. Like you can go to Clubhouse and follow someone on Instagram, and then you can be like, hey, I just wanted to pitch you my new idea. Hey, do you hear me? Hey, right? Or you can literally like do 3 weekly collaborations on Clubhouse and promote your thing. Like it's even though it's a complete new way of marketing yourself, it is still the same foundational forceful versus repetitive idea that I just shared. Let me know if that answers your question. Okay, Bree, if you had the same question, let me know if that answered your question too. And let me know if you have specific platforms or specific ways of marketing that you want me to compare and contrast. I'm happy to do that as well. Okay, I'll give you guys a couple of minutes to answer. I love Mondays. You guys make me love Mondays. I love being here. I love supporting you guys. I love answering your questions. I hope this is extremely helpful to you. That helps clear it up some. Thank you. Beautiful. I can always dive deeper with it. I can always dive deeper around it with you if you need to, or I can come back into the comments and dive deeper as well. And I think with that, we're going to wrap it up today. If you guys have no other questions, we'll close it up. I will see you next Monday at 10 a.m. Eastern. You guys are amazing. You are the best audience ever. I literally love coming in here and hanging out with all of you. It is my joy, my honor, my excitement every single week. So thank you for showing up live. Thank you for watching the replay. I know so many of you watch the replay, and I also know so many of you don't like the Monday mornings time. So I'm going to ask one more time. Do you guys like mornings at 10 a.m. or do you prefer an evening spot? I've had so many people reach out to me telling me like, can you please do the show later? But every time I poll it, you guys say that you like the morning. So I'm really confused about this. I need your help. I have one more thing to say though about repetition. And I totally forgot, but this is important. I was literally about to leave, and then I have one more thing. The reason why it works. I said I would tell you why it works. The reason why it works is because it gives other people agency, and it gives other people the capacity to choose on their own, right? And create their own sense of curiosity versus you shoving something down someone's throat. But also because it creates a compound effect, okay? Which means maybe you're promoting. So like at this point of my business, I have people reach out to me all the time. Like, hey, I've been following you for a while. Can you help me with X, Y, and Z? I'm kind of like ready to buy from you. Like, hey, I've been wanting to work with you for a while, and I'm kind of like ready to sign up to work with you. Or like, hey, I saw that you promoted this 3 times over the past 3 years, and I really, really love that course. Is it something that you still offer, right? Like, it creates a compound effect to be repetitive with your marketing, because the first time, let's say you have a goal of booking 5 clients, but you only book 3. That's sucky. We're going to process the emotions that come with not reaching the goal. Totally fine. I'm not taking away from the fact that that's disappointing and it feels bad. But while you were promoting that program, I promise you that there were people looking at what you were doing, seeing your repetition, and being like, that's interesting. That's interesting. And then next time that we do the same thing, those individuals who had never seen the program before but thought, that's interesting, maybe they're going to take the next step. Maybe this is the time where they're going to click, or maybe this is the time where they're going to book a call, or maybe this is the time where they're going to reach out to you and be like, hey, I saw this program last time. Can you tell me more about it? Right? And then another round comes along, and then we focus on promoting that same program through repetition and not pushiness, right? And then from the first and the second round, I promise you that now you have more people who have been seeing your stuff, okay, and have been compounding desire to work with you, okay? So repetition not only works because it gives agency to the buyer, it not only works because we're not forcing someone to kind of look but pay attention in the wrong way. It not only works because you're creating a sense of curiosity, it not only works because it is literally what needs to happen in order for someone to actually acknowledge what you have. And it's not that they don't like you, it's just there is so much going on in the online space that in order to have someone click on your stuff, or in order to have someone inquire about your stuff, they have to see it multiple times. Like, very rarely, this does happen, but very rarely does someone see something for the first time and they're like, that's it, I'm in. Like, usually they see it, they read about it, they get an email, they check out the sales page, right? Like, very rarely it's like a one-time thing. Does happen, but it is more common that people need to see it over and over again. So not only is it doing all of those things, but it's also creating a compound effect. It's creating a compound effect that it's like, while you're doing all of those things, there are people who are becoming more engaged, who are becoming more aware, who are becoming more knowledgeable about your program, who are starting to create a little bit of curiosity about it, who are starting to think that maybe that's what they need, who are starting to really be like, this is what I need, and who are kind of like the next time at the verge of like clicking and processing that payment. And then the next time, maybe they didn't do it because they let fear get in the way, but the next time that you create repetition about the program, they're like, this is it, this is my time, right? Or like the next time you put out your first post and they're like, you know what, I saw your post, this time I'm in, just send me the payment link, right? It all happens because repetition also creates a compound effect in your marketing. Okay, I talked about this in my Instagram stories the other day, and it gets better and better and better and better, just because in the background we cannot see this, but there are people who maybe didn't go for it the first time, or didn't understand it the first time, or maybe it wasn't the right time, but then over time it becomes easier. That's it. I had to say this before I left. I like 10 a.m. This is so helpful. Thanks, Barbs. You're so welcome. Thank you for being here all the time, Bree. You're an amazing student. That's so true. I can tell from personal experience, people need to be ready on their own terms. It's about them. Exactly. All right. With that said, I'm going to drop my mic right now. I'm going to leave you guys. I will be back here Monday at 10 a.m. I'll be in the group throughout the week. Let us know what you want to learn about. Let us know what you're struggling with. Let us know what you need me to teach about. And set alarms for Mondays at 10 a.m. because thus far, that's when we are coming in here and partying together. Bye, everyone.